You're watching RTV News with me, Jane Mutoni. The Ministry of Trade and Industry has announced that over 1.4 billion Rwandan currency will be used to renovate the Kinazi cassava processing plant. Legal experts agree with the content of the research conducted by Transparency International Rwanda that the problem of overcrowding in the country's prisons is mainly due to the fact that alternative punishments for wrongdoers are not used as they should be. A very warm welcome to the news in details. Now, the Ministry of Trade and Industry has announced that over 1.4 billion rand currency will be used to renovate the Kinazi cassava processing plant, which cost over 7 billion rand francs to construct, but has been operating at less than 50% capacity. Nurieth Agasaro has this report.
This cassava processing factory, which opened its door in 2012, had the ability to turn 120 tons of cassava into 40 tons of flour per day. It has been operating at a rate of just 35% for the past 10 years because it processes 40 tons of cassava into 13 tons of flour per day. The administration of this factory says that the problem is caused by 3 machines that are not working as expected.
There are
3 machines. One gives heat to the flour, which is the most important and the biggest and most expensive. There is another one which is peeling machine that has never worked. And there is another one that is responsible for putting the product into small packages. And the farmers have the crops, but we want them to work with RAB and Minagri to manufacture high-quality goods. We want them to expand several farms and yield high-quality goods.
When the President of the Republic, Paul Kagame, visited the Ruhango district on the program to reach out to the people, he said that it is confusing how the Kinazi cassava processing plant is not working at the desired rate for 10 years.
My question is, why don't you work at 60% instead of 70%? Isn't it 80%? That should be answered. There are 2 sides. So there are people who have appointed the government to be involved. There is also the fact that the factory does not have enough cassava, and cassava should also be available in sufficient quantities, which is a factory that has the capacity to make cassava flour. And the farmers grow more crops to gain more profit. But on the factory side, have to make sure that they made enough cassava flour according to the cassava that were harvested or reached to the factory.
Minister of Trade and Industry Ngabitsinze Jacques Chrysostome announced that the issue of substandard machines in this factory will be replaced by next year so that the Kinazi cassava plant will be working at the planned rate.
The report made by BRD and made by experts shows that there is a need of at least $1,426,625. So once we have agreed with our various institutions, such as Minecofin and others, the only thing will be left is that it will be done in few days and it will be finished. What I promised is that we are now ready for all the needs of the factory that is going to do so to set the teams to monitor them so that this issue will not be asked again by His Excellency the President.
Ruhango district officials, where the factory is located, shows that the cassava production has doubled because it went from 204,000 tons to 406,000 tons. The Kinazi cassava processing plant currently stands at a value of over 7 billion Rwandan francs. Most of its cassava flour is exported. Nurieth Agasaro, RTV News.
Legal experts agree with the content of the research conducted by Transparency International Rwanda that the problem of overcrowding in the country's prisons is mainly due to the fact that alternative punishments for wrongdoers are not used as they should be, yet they are provided by the law. Betty Mutoni has this report.
84,000 are prisoners found in 12 prisons in different parts of the country. The number of prisoners has increased from 66,000 in 2020 to 84,000 currently, and overcrowding in different prisons has increased from 136% in 2020 to 174% this year. Transparency International Rwanda senior legal researcher Jean-Claude Rwibasira explains some of the outcomes of this research.
If we look at 84,000 prisoners, 61,000 of them are common law offense. Then among them, we have 11,450 parole prisoners, which is a large number, and these are in 12 prisons, not counting those in police stations who can spend days there. When you consider how the law is, it says that the person in RIB has to spend there 5 days without counting weekend. Then after charges are filed, there's still a wait for the court date.
Normally, the prosecutors request 30 days in prison when the defender is brought before the judge so that thorough investigation can be carried out. The chairperson of Transparency International Rwanda, Marie Makire Ingabire, finds that there are crimes that should not be pleaded for 30 days in the prison while follow-up is being carried out. He saw a lady who was wearing a dress that I cannot explain in back of Kigali Arena, and I heard that they asked her for 30 days for investigation. I'm asking the prosecutors, what was the 30 days for? Do you want to know how much she bought it? Do you want to know where she bought it? What is the investigation for? It has become a culture for the persecutors. We think there should be other alternatives like fine. Imprisonment is not the only punishment, nor should it be the only solution. The executive director of Legal Aid Forum, Andres Kananga, noted that the overcrowding in the prisons is a big issue and something must be done to make sure that it reduces.
Overcrowding in our prisons is extremely very high. So we have about 84,000 people in our prison systems, and we think that is really very high because overcrowding now stands at 174%. It's extremely high and alarming, so something has to be done. As you have seen, we have different alternatives to imprisonment in our laws that are not being applied. And basically what the research has shown is that if these alternatives are applied, probably we wouldn't be having 174% overcrowding in our prisons. And this infringes and impedes on human rights. So all we are saying, we have to improve, we have to apply these alternatives, but we also have to look for more.
The executive secretary of a bar association, Liberal Majambere, says that there can be other alternatives of punishments rather than imprisonment.
Things could be done if all institutions could raise their voices. Today I could not say that you have a big problem, but if there is a problem, even in the prisons, for example, so every institution, judiciary, the Rwanda Bar Association, the RCS, Rwanda Correctional Services, all of them could gather their voices or their forces to implement or to strengthen where there is a weakness today. If the law says that one of them, even fines or imprisonment, why not choosing the fines?
There are other punishments that can be given to those convicted rather than being sent to the prison. Some of these include fine without trial, parole, community service, and more. Betty Mutoni, RwandaTV News.
Parliamentarians, part of the Friendship Committee of Rwanda in Canada's parliament, have held a meeting with the Honorable Donatille Mukabalisa that touched on the relationship between the two countries, and Honorable Ariel Kayabaga noted the different ways Rwanda has managed to develop since the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi.
I'm from Canada. I'm a member of parliament in Canada who originates from the region. Continue strengthening the relationship between Canada and Rwanda. Well, I want to continue to share the message of what we learned from Rwanda, from the progress in Rwanda. We are, 28 years after the genocide against Tutsis. There's so much that the world can learn, and the development, and again, the continued relationship between Canada and Rwanda. We want to make sure that our relationship continue to build.
Honorable Donatille Mukabalisa pointed out how pleased they are with the good relations between Rwanda and Canada, as well as the Friendship Committee that was initiated for both countries to join forces to achieve mutual development.
Twishimiye umubano mwiza hagati ya Canada n'u Rwanda.
We are happy with the relationship between Rwanda and Canada, especially that of our parliaments. To strengthen our friendship and share experiences, we've established a friendship committee between the Canadian and Rwandan parliaments. We are ready to share our experiences and knowledge that will undoubtedly position our parliaments and therefore our countries for development.
Bishobora kungura inteko zacu zishinga amategeko igihugu cyacu muri rusange n'abaturage b'ibihugu byombi muri rusange.
On Tuesday, the Rwanda Agricultural and Animal Resources Development Board launched a new variety of mushroom named button mushroom, commonly cultivated and produced in China. Rwandan farmers are now being trained on the cultivation of these types of mushrooms. Adam Kwizera has this report.
These are the trainings that are intended to boost up the mushroom production through the use of Jonkao technology, known to be environment friendly, as it's also cultivated on a small land scale. Some farmers who attended these trainings appreciated this new launched variety of mushrooms, named button mushrooms, that are expected to generate their income as it has high price cost compared to oyster mushrooms.
These button mushrooms are the kind of mushrooms that are popular on the market, as it is at a high price cost. It's also delicious and very popular on the international market compared to oyster mushrooms.
It is difficult to keep them for a long time. Namely, 1 day or 2 days are sufficient. But for button mushroom, you can keep them for more than five days. Export them. The price of button mushroom is more time compared to the price of oyster mushroom. While you can get 2,000 Rwandan francs per kilo for oyster mushroom, for button mushroom you can easily get more than 5,000, even 8,000.
The Director General of Rwanda Agriculture and Animal Resources, RAB, Dr. Patrick Karangwa, pointed out that mushroom cultivation should be supported since it have many advantages, as he explains.
Mushroom is among those with high value. One of the mushroom growers here in the trainees, among the trainees, was telling me that just using even this room, he can generate 1 million Rwandan francs every month. So you can see that it's a lucrative business, and besides producing on small land, it is also among those commodities that can help cope with the problems of climate resilience. Sometimes when there is drought, crops over there outside, sometimes they are so much affected. But this one, you can manage better, deal with the effects of climate change.
China's embassy is used to be partner with Rwandan mushroom farmers through generating knowledge on the mushroom cultivation. As the China ambassador to Rwanda, Wang Zukun, noted that the cultivation of this new launched variety will support their role in eradicating poverty.
In last month, China and Africa hosted the coordinators meeting. During the meeting, China pledged to mobilize more resources in favor of Africa to eradicate poverty and support development. So this training program, China is fulfilling its commitments and making its initiatives take root in Rwanda. We should always bear in mind that it's important to support Rwanda through concrete actions. By working together, let's make mushroom growing a path to prosperity. And we have every reason to believe it will be achieved.
For the mushroom farmers across the country, a country being trained, and since 2006, almost 36,000 farmers have been trained on the production of mushrooms through a collaboration with the Chinese embassy here in Rwanda. Adams Kwizera, RTV News.
The National Institute of Statistics has noted that the census was a success due to the cooperation of the people and the census clerks. Tuesday has marked the last day of the 2-week census that has been taking place across the country. Yusuf Murangwa is the Director General of the National Institute of Statistics of Rwanda, saying that overall the census was successful due to the participation of the people.
It went well. We started off well. The people participated in it. All people were aware that there is census was taking place, and were ready for it. I would like to thank Rwandans for participating, as they gave us information we needed. And I also want to thank the institutions that we cooperated with, especially the government institutions, the primary institutions, and the central administration of our country, for the way they supported us. They helped us a lot in making this census success.
A number of challenges that enumerators face, especially in urban areas.
navuga ko nta bibazo byabaye kubera ko mu mitegurire hari byo twari tuzi ko bizaba.
I would like to say that there were no problems, because in the preparation there were things that we expected. For example, in the rural areas, because the people who work near their homes were easy to reach, but people living in the cities have a lot of work, hence it was difficult to get them. But due to campaigns that has been carried out and the schedules that were provided, in the evening it was delayed. However, yesterday we finished counting almost all the residents in all cities.
Mu miji yose naho twari twarangije kubarura hafi abaturage bose.
The population and housing census is held every 10 years and helps the country with its development plans. It is expected that the information from the latest enumeration will be published at the end of this year. Now, moving on, medical experts say it's important for everyone to get a general health checkup at least once a year to avoid the permanent consequences of not getting an early diagnosis. Some of the people who survive diseases that often kill a lot of people in Rwanda say that the quick recovery was due to early diagnosis. Olive Neti has this report.
A mother of 4 children, whom we decided to call Uwineza Lilios because she didn't want to reveal her real names to the media, is a breast cancer survivor due to early medical checkup. I got sick when I was 29. I was diagnosed after giving birth to my 4th child. Since I had a problem where after breastfeeding, I felt my breast getting too heavy. I lived in Musanze, near Butaro. Then I went there and I had an echography. The results revealed that it was a tumor, and it also revealed its size. Due to the improved technology in medicine, I got treated. From 2016 to now, I'm fit. Early checkups increased my life expectancy and helped me to stay with my family and raise my kids. However, some of the residents don't understand the importance of regular medical checkups when one is not ill. I think that someone should be checked up when they are sick or having other problems in their body. Someone comes to the hospital because he or she's sick. They come because they obviously need medical treatment. But when somebody is not ill, I don't see the reason why of getting checked up. Apart from silent killers, which are usually detected at the latest stage, the division manager of non-communicable diseases in the Rwanda Biomedical Center, Dr. Uwinyindi Francois, notes that the person should get checked up at least once a year to avoid further complications that may arise from not doing medical checkups regularly.
The medical checkup should be done on a yearly basis. I think every year we are mainly focusing on people with 35 years and above should go at the nearest health facility and do the medical checkup at least once a year. Some of these diseases that we are talking about, like hypertension, like diabetes, there are some pre-disease stages. There are some of those abnormal values that are not yet at that stage of, initiating the treatment, but it's not really normal. So that maybe depending on the underlying causes, maybe you are overweight, maybe you are not resting well, maybe you are abusing alcohol, you are eating too much salt, you can be counseled, you can get the counseling and be advised to stop or to those risk factors that are exposing you to have those abnormal values. And in most of the cases, you can reverse the trend and go back to the normal values. This is the first, I think, benefit of doing this yearly checkup for these non-communicable diseases. The second one is that once we find out that your values are really high and you are at the stage of initiating the treatment, when we initiate you the treatment on time, you can really, be controlled, have normal values, and then continue living a very normal life, continue working for yourself, the family, but also for the country. But when you come at an advanced stage, sometimes it's really complicated to treat you.
He continues by indicating some of the negative effects that results from not checking up regularly with health conditions.
The worst scenario is you can die actually. So because these are very deadly diseases, if you look at the number of people that we are losing every year in the country, the numbers are huge. And I was saying that earlier on that these non-communicable diseases are killing 44% of our people. And these are figures from 2016, and we think that now figures might have increased. So very soon we should be able to publish new statistics. So apart from dying, disability, but also there is also some socio-economic consequences. If you are taking too many drugs, doing many exams, so these are things that are taking much of human that you should be investing, for development, activities and so on.
According to the Rwanda Biomedical Center, 16% of Rwandans aged between 18 and 69 have high blood pressure, while 3% have high blood glucose. However, only 180,000 people with these diseases get medical treatment. The Rwanda Biomedical Center also reveals that 44% of deaths in Rwanda are caused by non-communicable diseases. Olive Nete, RTV News.
Citizens in Bugesera district have noted that the Land Week initiative is a solution to some of their land problems as they get some of the services they have been looking for in a short period of time. Prince Manzi has this report.
At Bugesera District's office, citizens are at large as they are looking for some of the land services. Janvier Mushima says that it's been a while since he's looking for the documents of his land, but he couldn't get them. Since 2010 till today, I wasn't able to get the documents. The Vice Mayor of Bugesera District in charge of economy and development, Angelique Umwari, says that one of the reasons it takes long for citizens to get their documents is the shortage of employees.
The challenge we have is that Bugesera is a district with an increasing number of land cases, and you find that some of the sectors do not have enough workers, and this will result into delay in answering them.
In order to solve issues in land services in Bugesera district, some of the workers of the Rwanda Land Management and Use Authority are collaborating with the district in the week dedicated to land services. They are studying each and every case and solving issues of the citizens at the same time. Some of the citizens who were served say they are happy for receiving the services they have been waiting for a while.
I've been coming and they would tell me to wait and wait. But today I got the documents. I'm very happy for that.
We would move from sector to cell or vice versa to get this service. But now, we are happy for this land week. I really don't know how to express how happy I am. The Director General of the Rwanda Land Management and Use Authority, Esperance Mukamana, states that the management of land is everyone's matter and assures that the issue of shortage of employees in Bugesera district is underway to be solved.
We are discussing with the Ministry of Local Government on how we can solve the issue of shortage of employees in Bugesera district. The management of land is a matter to be dealt with everyone, not the land management and use authority only. This means everyone must be responsible of his or her own land and respect the master plan.
Bugesera district receives between 4,000 and 5,000 cases on land services, and they are solved on a 90% rate. The Land Week is expected in all districts of the country and expects to resolve a large number of the land cases. Prince Manzi,